What's going on, guys? Welcome to episode number 2 of the We Live the Lifestyle podcast with your host, Chris Bautista. And I actually just invited my first guest on. I'm going to wait for the intro, for me to intro him in a little bit. So we're just gonna um, wait for him to come on. But yeah, so how are you guys? I'm super excited on this podcast. One, it's my first guest, and then two, it's it's a guest and a close friend of mine that I definitely have wanted to kind of sit down and talk about pretty much the beginning and how it all started, what goes through his mind, through his journey and through his day to day. Because I'm going to mention this when he comes on, but he basically was nonstop grind mode from when I first met him to the present day. I don't really have any idea kind of when he kind of like, kind of had some downtime or took some time off. Um but yeah, he's just been a hustler since the day I met him. I learned a lot from him. Obviously, we built a pretty good relationship from working with each other, and stuff like that. Just a little backstory on how me and him met, because when he does come on now, um, we're just basically going to just dive right into it. So yeah, so there was actually, you know what? I'm just gonna wait. I'm gonna wait because one of the things that I want to talk about with him is basically the time that I did meet him, and it kind of ties in into like the day that I met him, um and then it turned into me kind of working alongside with him. So yeah, um just waiting on him for a little bit. So yeah, I'm just gonna make sure everything is pretty much okay. Again, if you guys are not watching, if you guys are listening to the podcast, just listening, remember to go subscribe to the YouTube channel, We Live the Lifestyle Podcast. The first episode is up, so go give that a go give that a listen and a watch on the channel, and give it a like, and obviously share and subscribe with your friends and family. Because definitely this podcast is going to be a podcast that pretty much anyone can listen to, not necessarily um like a certain type of audience is going to be intrigued by it. That's my goal, to be honest, is for anyone to kind of like jump into the podcast and kind of listen to it and be intrigued on what the topic that I'm talking about or the guest that I have on. Obviously, in the beginning, I'm going to have pretty close friends of mine, but my goal is to have some people that I actually want to get to know, and obviously have the audience to get to know. And to be honest, to kind of get me out of my comfort zone, and um and kind of, have the courage to actually sit down and talk. What up? Let's see. What's up,
Chris,
bro?
what's up? How are you?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Hanging in there, brother. Nice to see you.
Nice to see
Hope
you.
everything is well. I hope you're healthy. I hope all your family's doing well too.
Hey, man, I say the same to you as well. It's been a
Appreciate it.
crazy crazy year,
Talk to me. That's
so
crazy. I know. Tell me
yeah.
about it. But it's over.
Yeah, I know. It's you've
According to everybody.
To be honest, I was gonna wait until to talk about this later on, but basically, once New York lifted everything, you pretty much went into it guns blazing.
Yeah,
You, like, to be honest, I felt that since since everything happened with the pandemic and stuff like that, you kind of like worked behind the scenes just waiting for that moment to be like, you know what, this is going to be another year for me to just like make the Hamptons kind of be on the map. Because I know for a fact when we were talking a couple years back, I think like that was your goal, correct?
Yeah, it was my goal, and it's still my goal. I feel like I haven't hit it completely yet. I feel like we're on the right track,
For
but
sure.
I felt that kind of like secret location parties and house parties during the pandemic were only hurting the cause instead of fixing it. If that makes any sense. Like I didn't believe in having to hide or break the rules just to make an extra dollar. So I just waited for that one moment to where the government said that we could legally open um, and do what we were used to doing. And I waited, and that moment came, and we executed, and it's been such a great summer so far. And I just hope to keep it up. But you're right. With all that being said, it's like so many people didn't wait, and they had basement parties, house parties, and some got away with it, but some things happen, and that's the most dangerous part about throwing a party and not having, or an event or any type of event, and not having proper safety and security and all that. So it's just like I didn't think it was worth it, but listen, all that waiting paid off.
Oh no, for sure. So actually let's talk about Blue Martin specifically first,
Yeah.
because we obviously the segue into it. So what did you? How did it all like happen? Because I know you had a relationship with Zach prior to that opening, actually. Um,
Mm.
and so if you want to just go in depth with that
Yeah.
first.
So Zach and I have had a business relationship. I'd even say a friendship for about 4 years now. Um, he met me like right before I was 18. I was doing a little promoting on the side for him, but um, when it came to start throwing events at 75, he was really on board with it. He really supported me. So for the first 2 years of me knowing him, and just getting to know each other, it was mostly like parties. And then unfortunately last year with the whole pandemic, nightlife was thrown out the window. There was really not much we could do. So he was definitely nice enough to try to incorporate those nightlife people into his restaurant in any way that he could, so that people weren't left in the street without a job. And that was a big thing for me. So I had worked restaurants since I was a kid. It was something I didn't do for a while, but it's kind of like riding a bike. When you don't ride a bike for a while, you still remember. So as soon as he put me back in the restaurant, I just snapped into it, and everything was flowing really well. So all of last summer, I worked at his restaurant, Blue Mar, which is in Southampton, on North Main Street, and I was doing some nights at 75 Main. Um, but I was really just waiting for the moment for clubs to open up. And this summer, it's kind of like a transition. I started this summer again as a restaurant manager, and now I'm slowly transitioning back into managing the nightclub, and still being involved in the restaurant, just not as much. But I think it was great. I think you shouldn't stop at one thing. I think you need to learn how to do multiple jobs just in case another pandemic happens. We never expected something like this to happen. So it was definitely a good opportunity to show people not to only stick with one thing. Definitely have something up your sleeve that you can pull out, and hopefully it's an essential job, because that's one big thing we learned this year. Essential jobs will never run out of work. So that's basically where I'm at with Zach right now. It's been a great experience, and we're just continuing to rock this summer and see where it takes us.
Oh, for sure. I mean, so I didn't know that you two knew each other for 4 years, because going by, it's 2021. 4 years ago was 2019, correct? No. Wow. 20
It's about to be no, it's about to be 2022. So to be maybe I stretched it a little bit with the 4 years. Maybe it was just three.
Okay. Oh,
But
cuz
I yeah, I met him when I was 17, turning 18. And then you remember when we were doing the clubs
yes.
at the old AM. It was
Oh,
I was 18 years old by then. Then by the time I was 19, I was throwing parties at 75. By the time I was 21, it was the pandemic this past
right.
year, and now I'm turning 22 into my fourth year knowing him. So
That's
it's just about to be four. I'm coming into my fourth year.
right. That's kind of insane cuz you're only 22, but you're pretty much
21 right now.
almost 21, almost 22,
Yeah.
and going by the day that I met you when we were in the old AM, and going by just that time until now, you pretty much have worked with Zach ever since. On and off, obviously, when you were doing your own thing, and then you went to Public House, and then you were still working with him in 75 Main, correct?
There was definitely some pauses like here and there,
Right.
some time away, where I tried to do other ventures and stuff like that. But ultimately we kept gravitating towards each other just because I feel like we have a good work system in place. I know how he likes things done. He knows how I like to promote my parties and what I the experience I like to give my guests. So yeah, we were back and forth a little bit, and then now it's been more of a consistent thing with him for the last year and a half, I'd say.
Okay, for like it was a very consistent workflow between you two for the past a year and a half.
Mhm.
Right? So,
Yeah.
and which is always good, especially out here, because do you think having that relationship with him kind of led you to becoming manager at uh Blumar?
Yeah, I definitely think it helped. Just kind of having a business relationship beforehand before I actually started working for him, because that's what people don't really remember or take into account. It's like when you're promoting a party, it's sort of like a partnership. You know, it's you're both taking a risk, you're both trying
Mm.
to accomplish the same goal. So it's different. But now, because of the pandemic, being hired to work directly for him for the restaurant is definitely different, 100%. So I didn't know how it would go. He didn't know how it was going to go, but we had that prior um, business relationship, like I'm telling you about. So it was easy for him to trust me, and I didn't take that trust for granted. I try to do the best uh, work to my ability, and here we are. So it's been a good ride so far, and I hope to keep it up. He's happy, I'm happy, and we'll continue and see where this leads us. But I think it definitely played a role. Knowing him beforehand definitely made things a bit easier to work together at the restaurant.
For sure. You would say that trust is a big thing when you're working with someone like that in a business relationship, obviously.
Mhm.
And then you guys became a little bit closer from a business relationship, correct? You would
Yeah,
say. Okay.
100%. Just because trust is so important. If you don't have trust in someone, you know it's very difficult to work side by side every day with them.
For
And
sure.
people often don't look at trust as a big thing, but I promise you, when you're working like some with someone like Zac Erdem or any hospitality person or any business person in general, you will quickly learn that trust is one of the most important things that you need. And if it's not there, then good luck.
Oh no, like I feel that a lot of people kind of like they build that trust and they don't kind of keep it, and then they kind of question why they don't work with each other anymore. They kind of fade, like that relationship kind of fades away. And again, like you've had that relationship with him and that trust with him more than a year and a half, which shows how much like the type of person you are, and well, type of person and business person that you are. So um before we get definitely too deep into the present, I definitely want to backtrack into your past a little bit, because I know you said that you kind of started to have a relationship with Zach when you were 17, 18, correct?
Turning 18, yeah.
Right.
This
That's were you graduated already, or
I did graduate when I met him. In high school, I always heard about his clubs and AM. It was such a popular destination for people to go at night. And it stirred up curiosity in my head, but I never thought of taking nightlife um, as a serious thing until after high school. To be honest, in high school we threw some house parties and the normal high school experience, but it wasn't really until I moved to the city right after college. I graduated. I moved to the
mm,
city, and I got to experience a lot of things that I hadn't seen in the Hamptons for such a long time. So I said, listen, why do people have to go to the city and drive to the city for a nice concert or a nice
mm,
club? Why can't they just stick around here? And that idea stuck in my head. And when I got back, I teamed up with two of my friends and we started a little event company, just promoting local artists and just giving the locals a good time. And it grew into what it is today. I just gained the passion for it along the way. I just love it. Everything about giving people an experience, letting them kind of distract themselves for a little bit and just forget about the normal stresses of daily life. It's a good feeling. People are happy, and that's basically where we are right now. I started that with my friends, and then we just kept moving up the ladder. As soon as I could get a new location or a new venue, I did. Um, we spread the word, try to get my name out there, and just one thing after another, and it's gotten me to where I am right now. So, still very early in the process, but I'm definitely proud of myself and my team and everyone who supported us along the way to where we are right now. It just means a whole lot. Even you, Chris.
oh, thank you, man.
Yeah,
So
you're in there. Trust me.
see, going by what you just said, I was just before you came on, I was telling them that me and you actually worked with each other for a good 2 years. We
Yeah.
work with each other on and off when I actually first met you, and then consistently when yeah, when we all
Getting
left.
paid and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So um, just to for me to tell this to you, I've the thing is I've always admired about you is that you're always hungry, because going by everything you have accomplished prior to the present day, from uh working at AM, then you were working at Dream for a little bit,
Hmm.
and then Public House for a little bit, and then now you're building a name for yourself at 75 and Blumar. So
Hmm.
I don't know if most people just, you know, uh uh just go to your parties and they have a good time, but they don't know what you came from. So it's
No
just,
idea.
yeah, so
And,
definitely
and that's the craziest part. And that's why you have your people that know how it's been since the beginning, and they know your struggles. And it's a up and down. People just kind of see everything as a happy business and always partying and having fun, but in reality, it's a lot of up and downs. It's a roller coaster ride, and that's why you always gotta make sure you treat everybody right, because one day you can be up, one day you can be down, and people will know your story. Not everybody will know your story, but some people will, and just like you said.
for sure. And going and then that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to start this podcast, is because for people to kind of get to know basically the people around them, especially us in this small town.
Mm-hmm.
Like obviously when like in the beginning of this podcast, I was telling them that I wanted to interview people that are close to me, but mainly people that pretty much everyone knows, but not
Mm,
necessarily knows. But
mm,
uh, I feel that if someone shares their story or like their come up, what they go on day to day, their mindset on different things that they
mhm,
go through, it kind of sheds light on like different things that people can relate and be like, oh, like this
mhm,
guy's successful, but he's actually started from a place just like me. And I remember you were on a podcast not a couple years ago, correct?
mhm.
With Mastermind Media, right? And
Yeah.
um I was when I first listened to it, I was and then there was one line that stuck out, and it's definitely something that I try to, try to share on a daily basis, is basically not necessarily being afraid to follow your dreams, basically. and
100%.
and not not being settled, and kind of going out and doing something that you love.
Mm,
So I've pretty much have done that since I could remember, to be honest with you. And knowing from where you started until now, it should show everyone that you can start from pretty
mm,
much just an idea. Like for you, like what you just said, that you didn't really have any sort of passion or kind of thought of actually doing nightlife until you actually step foot into the city, and which is basically the nightlife central for New York. So,
mhm,
and then you kind of thought to yourself, oh, maybe, because again, if most people don't know, like, yes, the Hamptons is pretty poppin' 3 months out of the year,
mhm.
but that's only 3 months, and there's 12 months in a year. So
Exactly.
so again, I believe that you bringing that mindset of like, you know what, I'm going to try my hardest to have the Hamptons pop in
Year round.
12, yeah, year round, 12 months, 365 days of the year. It's going to make a big difference, because again, um when you started at AM, uh what I dislike saying this, but it was used a lot back then. But would you say that you held or helped hold a lot of teen nights at AM?
Yes. I hate that word too. We'll call them college nights.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like whenever
um, so yeah, no, we definitely did something different in that sense. There's not a lot of colleges out here in the East End. We have Stony Brook and the Suffolks and all that, which is basically like the closest thing we have. I know there's more, St. Joe's and all that, but there's really no place other than a bar or a restaurant where kids, I wouldn't even say kids, just young adults in their college years, um, they want to go out, they want to have fun. We're not upstate, they don't want to go to a bar, they don't want to go to a backyard, they want to go to something nice. So we gave them that experience, and we did it the right way without breaking rules and checking people and making sure that it was a safe environment for everybody. And that's what we did, and that's something that I feel no one else really thought of beforehand. Maybe they didn't think it was, any value in doing the college nights, but I didn't really see it more as a money thing. I saw it more as an opportunity to give um, young a young clientele the opportunity to feel what it's like to be in a nightclub before they turn 21, in the safest way um, possible. That way, I personally believe it's a good learning lesson for the youth or for the young adults to go to a club, see what it's like, understand the etiquette of what it's like to be out in a nightclub in an establishment like that, be at a high end party, just live it, just experience it. I remember when I was young, I consider myself a bit mature for my age, so I always wanted to be with the older kids. I always wanted to know what it's like to be at these bars and these clubs, um, and I want to give that opportunity to someone that's thinking like me. Oh, I wonder what it's like to be in that, even if it's a business aspect or a cultural aspect, or if you just want to see what it looks like. You know what I mean? I want to give that person the chance to know what it's like, to know how to act. So when it's their time, when they're 24, 25, going to high end clubs, they're gonna know what's expected of them. They're gonna know how to act. They're gonna know how to behave. And that's very important because we got to keep it. We got to keep it good. We got to keep it clean, got to keep it safe for everybody. So I think it's a good learning lesson. And you saw it. They came out. They came out. We packed it out. They had a great time.
For
So
sure. Yeah, so like when I did work there with you guys, it was, I believe my first night was eye opening for me because I was obviously I was in, because you're 21. Yeah, I don't know, I was in like my early 20s, and I to be honest,
mm,
I never thought that that type of thing could happen around here,
mm.
because it was, because I don't, if for people listening, AM was in a, would you say it was in a very, I wouldn't say bad spot, it was in a very unique spot.
Hidden spot,
Yeah, exactly.
very
So
hidden spot, low key.
so so to be honest, I would pass it on a daily basis and I wouldn't thought anything of it. But when I first stepped foot in there, it was just eye opening to be like, oh, this type of thing is actually exists. And going by what you just said about how, people should act in like high end nightclubs and stuff like that. Um when I did go to Vegas, and I know you did as well, um, I went to. You weren't a. Were you able to go to clubs out there or no?
Some clubs, but not all the ones I wanted to. It was a last minute trip, so
For
I
sure.
mean it took a lot to get into the biggest clubs, but I know what you mean. I've seen. I study this shit.
Oh no, exactly. So like, so just going by that, it's just like the similarities of just how people acted at AM. It was like super chill, super good vibe, and it's like comparing to the high end nightclubs in Vegas. It's just like I pretty much the same. So definitely definitely share, like, for you saying that how like the youth should experience that is definitely something good as well.
Yeah, because you have to understand because some of these people, um, they they haven't really left the area, or let's say they've only been to clubs around here, and
Hmm.
you have no idea the crazy culture in clubs when it comes to Miami, Las Vegas, New York City. They're like the biggest party towns. You know what I mean? The biggest party cities we have, and not and Atlantic City as well. Not a lot of people get a chance to always experience that. So I want to bring that feel here, and like you said, just so people are prepared. They know how to act. They can go anywhere and be like, you know what? It's not too different from home. The people at home, they're doing a good job. Look, we go to Las Vegas, we go to a club, and it still feels a little like back home. You
Oh,
know,
for sure. And you guys made it pretty affordable to
as affordable as we could. Yeah.
yeah, obviously, you have to kind of keep in mind everything on the back end, but going just for a person trying to go to a club at night, obviously, they don't want to spend 50, $7,500 on an entrance fee, but you guys made it affordable for pretty much anyone to go in. So I believe that right there is like, you you like, when you go out, you kind of pay for what you're getting, right? So
Exactly.
so for you guys, it was kind of good. It was great actually, because you guys made it affordable, but then again, you guys made it an experience that people will always remember, So
Exactly.
yeah, so like that, like I feel like that can kind of uh you know kind of make people remember more than, oh, like having a bad experience plus, spending,
Spending all
70.
that money.
Yeah, exactly. So
And
I've
that
could.
definitely a key to keeping like a year-round crowd
Right.
is you can't push their limits, and that's what summer. The summer, uh, everybody's around. You know what I mean? You really have to take care of your locals because they're going to take care of you in the wintertime when people aren't around.
For sure. That
So
that right there is something that I always I always tell people. Like for me, that like as because I as you know, I worked at a gym for 5 years.
mhm.
So it kind of works hand in hand because like we're talking about pretty much making it affordable. I always told my coworkers that um you'll always you always cater to your locals, especially out here, because again, they they're going to they're going to put food on the table on the off season. Like unlike, Miami, Vegas, and Cali, it's like they're pretty much on go 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 year
It's a
round.
very transient. They're very transient cities. The same
Yeah,
people that are going to be at your club one week are not going to be at your club the next week. And the difference between the Hamptons is that you're going to get the similar crowd every weekend. So
for sure.
I get
So
exactly what you're saying.
yeah. So just for you saying that is just like is will help a lot because again, people will keep coming back to your
Mhm.
parties and stuff like that.
I hope.
So, oh, for the longest I've known you, I've just a little, backstory, super quick. uh when I used to work in Sag Harbor at the gym, one of the gym's branches, there was a lot of people that worked there that went to, East Hampton, Amagansett, and stuff like that, and they would obviously they would recognize me because I was the guy with the camera. So they would always ask me like, yo, are you going to 75 tonight? And I was like, how would you know that you live in
Yeah.
East Hampton, Amagansett? But like the thing is, like the word spreads. Like if if you have a good experience, again, especially in this town, word of mouth is definitely the best way to advertise
Oh,
anything. And
100%.
you definitely built pretty much a good name for yourself, man. And I definitely want to congratulate you on that for
No,
sure.
I appreciate it, Chris. I appreciate you and anybody who's been so supportive along the ride. It means a lot. Like without the people around you, you can't accomplish as many things as you think by yourself.
Oh,
You need a team, and you need people to support you, and you need to be humble enough to take feedback and criticism and just kind of improve yourself 1% better every day.
for sure. That and that is actually a great segue because you have a would you say you have a very close niched friend group. And the reason why I say that is because pretty much everyone that you surround yourself with is successful in their own aspect.
Nah,
Right. From obviously you have Zach, but going by mutual people that we know, you know Uno,
yeah,
the Kuros family, and the people that you actually grew up with have been there with you since pretty much day one, and
yeah.
they're successful in their own ways as well. So would you say um would you say that you probably just said it, but people just don't understand that no matter how successful you are, if you're just starting or if you're in the middle or if you're in the top of your game, having people's in your in your friend group or just being surround yourself with is super important. Like, would you
Very.
say? Yeah.
And it's difficult. Your circle. I always think to myself, I want to be the dumbest person in my circle
Mm.
because you're never gonna be better playing against someone who's at a lower level. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. If you're shooting in the gym and the person that you're playing against isn't better than you, then you're probably not gonna get better. You know, you got to lose a million times. You got to get beat a million times before you know what I mean. And that's what I try to keep around my circle. People um, who are trying, who have the same mentality as me, who have things to teach me, who I get inspired from. And it's difficult. Don't get me wrong. You know, you live in a small town. You know a lot of people. Um, there's definitely some friends that I wish acted differently, or I see a lot of potential in them that they necessarily haven't seen in themselves. And it's definitely difficult because you just try to keep those people around you, and you still want to see everybody, but there's only so many hours in a day, and your time is very important. You have to, it's very valuable too. You have to really pick who you spend that time with, and the people around you is very important. And I struggle with it till this day. Just like, you know, if I see you in the street, I know you. Trust me, I will say hi. I'm not a, you know, I'm not a only my circle type of guy. But when it really comes down to it, when it comes down to phone calls, who I'm talking to every night, who I'm texting, who I'm bouncing ideas with, um, it really comes down to a select few that I can count on my hands, just because you have to. And it's more than, and yeah, shout out to Uno and the Kiros family. I'm so proud of them and everything they've done. They've been nothing but supportive for me, and that's fam. I've known them for a really long time. But even more than them, you know, so many of my friends that are next to me right now, I'm so proud of them. They're just doing a great job, and um, we're all just young and hungry, and we're just trying to make it. And it's the one of the most important things. Keep the people around you close. Make sure that they're hungry and motivated. Make sure that they're inspiring you, and you'll see where it goes.
No, I definitely back that up 100% because to be honest, most people don't learn that aspect of friendship until, to be honest, later on in life. It like
Mhm.
we me and you are, and me and you and a select few are very fortunate to actually learn that, like, you know, you
Very
don't
early on.
need, yeah, early on, and you don't need, like, you know, like, you know, in the high school days you need like that, like 10, 15, 20 deep group of friends to be like, oh, like I'm good.
I'm
But
something, yeah.
for sure, but like now it's just like, you, if you can
Mhm.
count the people that you truly care about and you truly hold dear on both of your hands, then
Mhm.
you're good. You're more than good, actually. Because
It's quality over quantity when
oh
it comes
yeah,
to your circle and your friends.
for sure. Most people don't understand the aspect of that quality over quantity. That can span from different aspects in life, you know. So definitely having a group of friends just to hold, basically to just hold you accountable, because accountability is super important, definitely in, you know, just basically in a day-to-day life. Like, I mean, if you mess up with, you know, mess up with, you know, a, like a friend, or you mess up at your job, or even if you're just going to a goal and they tell you that you're steering off your path, then that's more
Hmm.
valuable than, you know, 10 people just
Cheering
riding
you
the,
on when you're doing something wrong. Exactly.
exactly, yeah. So
It, it's such an
definitely.
important thing. But I love that you brought that topic up because um, it's so important, so important. And I stress it again because for any kids coming up, you know, don't always follow your friends. Follow yourself. Your real friends will always be there. Your circle will always be there. The people that really care about you, they'll always be there, and you'll know who they are. You know.
Oh man, yeah, that's definitely important. I just, it's just, excuse me, I just, like, when people, especially when you graduate high school, people think that everything is over. Like
Hmm.
like all your friends are going to, you know, going to college or doing their own thing. But again, when with you and I, it's just when we graduated, it's like um it's like the our true people stayed with us from that point on. Like,
Exactly.
so, and actually the good thing is that, they, even though the, like, when when they're truly there for you, and they're your ride or die like friend, is that even when they're down, they help you succeed,
Exactly.
for sure. Like,
It,
so definitely an aspect, in definitely something that everyone should learn early on, is to keep those people super close.
1000%. 1000%.
So, one last thing before we end it off today. We See, the thing is like, I was telling them in the beginning,
We could
like,
talk. You and me can talk for hours.
that's what I'm saying. That's
We
like,
can talk for hours.
when I started recording before you came on, I was like I've been, like, when I asked, like,
Mhm.
in my head, I was like, when I start this podcast and I want to have guests on, the one person that I wanted to sit down and just, you know, like, talk about pretty much everything that, we've went through, and what happens on your day to day. It's just like, on a day to day, it's just like, you popped in my head, because again,
I appreciate that. Look,
I was telling them since the day I met you until now, you were just go. Like, you didn't take a break, you didn't have any downtime. Well, obviously, look, from me looking in, like,
yeah.
I just felt that you were just like, work, work, work. You just, like,
Mhm.
kind of elevated in a very consistent way, and it's just like in my head, I'm like, I'm I'm glad to have met this person, because, you
Thank you, and
know
like,
for sure, like, no, for sure, like, you mean, when I don't know if you approached me or I approached you, but I think I approached you. But when I approached you to be like, let me
we
oh, go ahead.
and my bad to interrupt. And I remember it's very clear how we met because, and it's a little message that I can say right now. It's like, when you're young, people take advantage of you in the
Mm.
sense of money or just your work, your talent.
Oh,
Um,
man.
and
we
and
but
and when you're young, you just you don't know what you don't know, and you're naive. So I think it's very important for everyone when they're young just to make sure that they study up, make sure they get a good mentor, make sure they get people around them that know the business that can steer them in the right direction. Because the reason that Chris and I met was because we both share the same struggle of people using us for whatever we bring to the table, whether it's talent or whether it's the business we bring. And I feel like that's how we met. I knew that you were going through a similar issue that I was early on in my days over there, and I felt like we could kind of vent together and see what we could figure out together. You know what I mean? Just to get us out of the situation that we were in at the moment. And whether it's like I think you came up to me or whatever it is, I know that the reason that we clicked was because of that, because we shared the same problem at the time, and it's a problem that a lot of young people go through when they're starting in their career. So
So before I elaborate on that, like, I remember that moment like it was yesterday, very clearly. And me and I've talked to you numerous times throughout that whole experience, and it was very relaxing to know that you were going through the same thing. Because, to be like, for me, when, you know the whole thing happened, was like, the whole reason that I started, photography and videography, is because it was just something that I felt, that I was intrigued in. And then, I got linked up with my first ever, like, um I guess you can say like gig or opportunity to actually do something was with Uno at his, I don't know if it was his, I think it was his first concert, right?
Hmm.
And at yeah, so at his first concert, and um so and then we went to AM that night, and that's when I
After,
actually,
yeah.
yes, that's when I first met you, like in person.
Hmm.
And ever since that day, I mean, I think uh I got linked up with you know who, and then you know what? The thing is like you can probably back this up 100%, is that I don't regret doing what I did back in AM. The reason for that is because, let me tell you, my best work was there. Like I can't like go like from like not saying that the stuff that I did with you, the stuff that I did with you was memorable. Like I will have those videos and remember those exact moments since the day I die. Like it's like from working with you is just like, one, we built a very good friendship,
Hmm.
definitely, and I'll always remember that. And because again, um uh I actually, I don't know if you remember this, but I actually asked your opinion about me shooting at Beach Bar for the first time.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
I remember that.
yeah, so I definitely, you were definitely someone that I definitely hold dear to my heart, and I definitely consider you as a close friend for sure. Because
I appreciate that, bro. And I swear to God, likewise. It's not a lot of people you could say the same about, but
oh, for
likewise.
sure. Like even, even just disregarding photography and videography, I don't know if you probably remember, but we sat down and I wanted to approach you about an actual business venture that
Hmm.
I wanted to see where your head was at and what advice that you can give me. So definitely, definitely, you know, just wanted to share with people out there is that you never know who you can cross paths with, and who you will never know that if you do cross paths with that person, you never know who that person will be in your life. So definitely hold every single person that you meet,
Hmm.
um you know
With the
def
equal respect and equal,
exactly, yeah,
because you never know. You're
for
100%
sure.
right.
um so yeah, uh damn, we see, the thing is like, this
You're
is
always gonna,
why.
when you know the full story, you're always gonna miss
Yeah,
but
that's
it's definitely a good story, and you know it better than others. But for what we're trying to do, it's just a couple of minutes of giving people a message, um, and not necessarily just bore people with our whole stories, but like I said, give the lessons and the messages that we've learned along the way, from where we are right now. And like I said, I don't even want to speak like I'm about to retire tomorrow. I have a long way. I'm
oh
very young.
man,
I'm just getting started. But even though it's been such a short time, you still see a lot and you still learn a lot. And you should share that information with people who are looking to do what you do. You know what I mean?
for really, for sure, definitely, me and you both are on basically our own paths to success, and we're pretty much getting started for sure. um Apart from all the messages that we've talked about in this last hour, what truly, if you had a chance to, because the thing is like, in my head, I play this vision every single time that I think about something that I want to do, is that if you if you um if you went back um to your high school now, and it was like an auditorium full of, like, kids still in high school, or the youth still in high
Mhm.
school, what is the like couple things that you want to tell them specifically and to share with them to kind of be like to make them realize that whatever you want to do, if you don't know, just
Mhm.
find something that you love and uh go ahead and do it with no stopping. Like what would you say to them? And we'll end it off there.
I think the biggest message is that you are the only person who's going to put a limit on your dreams. As far as you think or imagine yourself is as far as you're going to go. And that's why I always tell people that you have to go so far and beyond to a point where you are like delusional. It really has to be that point because you have to think that you are the best. You have to wake up and look at yourself and not compare yourself to anybody else. You have to wake up and say, I'm gonna make it this far. I'm gonna make it work. I'm gonna find out a way to make this happen. Don't put a limit on your dreams. Oh, if I make it here, it'll be all right. If I make it to this place or that place, I'll be fine. People will think I did a good job. No, you should always go as far high as possible. And the reason for that being is because when I was starting, I looked at the venues that I've already done in the past, and I was like, I can't go there. I can never go there. I'm 16, 17. I'm thinking like, wow, these places are like uh, machines and institutions. They've been here for such a long time in the Hamptons. Like, who am I to just come up in here? Why would they trust me? Why would they do that? But very quickly, I threw that out and I said, I want to be here. I want to work with this person. I want to be at this venue, and I did it. And it took a while, but it happened. So who am I to say that the venues that I have in my dreams right now I won't get to? I will get to. You just have to. You have to. You have to be confident enough to not care what anybody thinks. You have to be confident enough to understand that not a lot of people think like you do. Not a lot of people do, and that's a very unique thing. I posted on Instagram a couple of days ago something that Uno posted. I'm paraphrasing, and it said, why try to fit in when you're custom made? And
Oh man, I
that's
saw that
exactly it.
too. Oh man, that hit for sure. Because
You know?
even um even for him, like I feel that he like you, people don't know that I actually knew him when he was like uh oh man, when he was a freshman in high school.
Yeah.
It
Oh
was
yeah.
it was insane. So like even for him, like he's another one, man. He's another one that I definitely want to get on here because you
100%.
know but yeah, no, just for him to say that, it's just like he he has like kind of paved his own way
Own
for
way.
sure
Own
because like
lane.
he's a unique artist for sure.
Hmm.
He's accomplished so much, and it's just like would would I have he was
Imagine and
yeah,
known. No, you never.
yeah,
And that's what I'm trying to say. You have to. It's crazy. The people around you, you never know what they got in their heads. And he said all the things that he was going to do, but sometimes you just don't really think about it until it happens, and you're like, wow, you made it happen. And that's what I want people to think about myself and my the people around me is like, wow, they said they were going to do it, and they did it. So
oh man, that's like when you said um like you're your own, well, basically you're your own worst enemy, to be honest with you.
yeah.
I can't even tell you how many times that I get inside my own head and uh kind of
Mhm.
stop myself from doing things, but
I do too, and you just have to shake it off. You
oh,
know,
for sure. Well, Pipe, this
I
was
appreciate you, bro.
you know what? This was a long awaited conversation, even if it was on a podcast or not. Like it's been a while, but definitely
Yes,
I love that we can just sit down and have a conversation like it was like we've been talking for a long time for
exactly.
sure.
I don't. Sometimes I forget that we're recording. I honestly just like catching up and talking about old stories. Like
Uh,
it's needed every once in a while, brother.
Oh
Really.
no, for sure. Definitely like again, like I definitely congratulate you on everything that you've accomplished and what you're what you're going to accomplish in the near future. And to be honest, like what I said in the beginning, like you're going into the summer guns blazing, and I see from afar for sure. I definitely wish that I had more time to, step foot in Blue Mar, but
Yeah, bro. When you got a day, come through.
you know what? Definitely, most definitely. But like it's just great to see because um, everyone sees the highs, but knowing you, like everything, like uh, exchanging words, just behind the scenes, it's like I know it's been basically a very like a big emotional roller coaster for
Mhm.
sure. But
It really is.
yeah, but hey man, I hope we can we'll see each other in person and definitely
Yes.
uh talk again, most
Let's
definitely.
chop
And
it up.
then yeah, no, for sure. And then I'll definitely let you know when I have a chance to head to Blumar, and we'll have some fun.
We'll have some fun, brother. I appreciate you big time, bro. Much love to you and much love to your fam. Hope everybody's okay, and we'll get a chance to talk soon, brother. I appreciate you having me on. Thank
Most
you.
most definitely, man. And
Much success with your podcast. I'll be tuning in.
oh, thank you, man. And thank you for one last thing. Thank you for being actually my first guest, and it it exceeded my expectations for sure.
No, thank you, bro. I appreciate it. I'll catch you, brother.
All right,
Have
brother.
a good
Have a
day.
good one.
Thank you
You
guys
too.
for listening.
All
Have a
right.
good day.
Oh man. Before I end this episode off, oh man, like I know I ended off with him, but let me tell you, this episode will definitely be one that I definitely will remember. And hopefully all the guests that I have on will definitely be a an episode that I definitely remember. But definitely me and Felipe's relationship is something that I hold dear for sure. So guys, I hope you guys liked this episode. Leave a comment, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like this video, go, I think it's subscribe or follow on Apple Podcasts. Um oh man, I'm really excited. I'm really excited for what's to come. And peace out, and I'll see you in the next episode.